Hey there, Pisces. Welcome to your reading for the week of March 23rd. We're going to jump right in here. You have this sixth house card. It says sustainability. You have this Cancer card. It says immerse on it. Hell yes, Pisces. The word sustainability is a very important word for you right now because of Saturn in your second house in Aries. It's all about sustainability. Even though it's funny that this card says sixth house. But I definitely feel you are one of the signs, Pisces, that is focusing on having more time for yourself, focusing on having time to do more of the things that you love, not doing so much for others, right? That doesn't mean you're going to stop doing things for others. It just means that, the self-sacrificing Pisces thing is going to go away, which is probably a good thing because you've probably given enough already for about 10 lifetimes, right? And I think that's what Pisces needs to realize. But I think you're really starting to value yourself more. Again, when you truly value yourself, you understand that, what you have to give is enough, right? And so I feel a lot of you are definitely going to be going through that, or it's like you've been going through it for a very long period of time. The immerse card is also very important, that Cancer card, because again, with Pluto and Aquarius, I always say we can't just dip our toes in the water like the star card, right, which is Aquarius. We have to fully enter into that pool of water and fully commit to anything that we're trying to build or create. And, of course, like I said, I think we're all kind of dealing with that energy just in general. You have the Ace of Swords, the Seven of Wands, and the Knight of Swords. So the Ace of Swords can be a victory. Again, this week should feel really good for you. I mean, today is the 16th, I think, right? Something like that. It's the 16th. This will be published on the 17th, the day before the new moon on the 18th. And again, I feel you're definitely going to feel really good about that new moon in so many ways. Feeling set free or just feeling like you have energy could be returning as well. And then 2 days later, of course, we have Mercury going direct. So, this last week of the month here, you could be feeling much more motivated, much more energetic, kind of ready to conquer the world type of energy off of this Ace of Swords. You have the Seven of Wands. Seven of Wands is a card of conviction. It says when you know that something is going to be successful, that's when it will truly be successful. So, when you really believe that you're doing the right thing, I think that will help you a lot. I do feel this is kind of one of those, I call it a time of culmination for you, Pisces, where it's like everything is adding up. Everything is coming together. All the things that you've been through, the lessons you've been learning, all that. It's like all coming together now. And you're probably using it to make your life better, which is exactly what the astrology wants you to do, plain and simple. So I feel like this Seven of Wands is kind of like more of a knowing type of energy, which makes sense with that Ace of Swords, that you are more in this space of maybe like knowing what to do next, or you're going to start feeling that the week of the 23rd. Next, you have the Knight of Swords. Knight of Swords says no jumping to conclusions. Again, a very retrograde card, the Knight of Swords. He is jumping to a conclusion. He's being too hasty. He's assuming things. So, anything you're dealing with this week, I would just still slow it down. Again, we'll be in the shadow until the beginning of April, the Mercury retrograde shadow. And so, even though it's over this week, over on the 20th, on Friday or whatever that is, I would still kind of slow things down, not rush anything, all that other stuff with the Knight of Swords. The other thing I feel with the Knight of Swords sometimes is that he's rushing to the next card and then he's running away. The King of Cups is like you here, Pisces. So I feel like the Knight of Swords is saying don't run away from your true power, or whatever you want to call it with the King of Cups. Don't run away from who you really are. With the Ace of Swords, yes, you have the Two of Wands. Like I said, I think you're ready to conquer the world here, Pisces. He's still standing in his comfort zone, but he has the whole world in his hands on the Two of Wands, And so he's being asked to step out of the castle and go build a new one, but he kind of doesn't want to because he already built a castle. But, you are definitely one of the signs, as I always say to you, that I think is being asked to build something new. And I think you need to realize that what you build is still going to be there. It's like you're not really cutting anything out necessarily. You could be cutting some things out with the Ace of Swords. It's not a bad thing to do with the Ace of Swords. But again, if you have built a business and you're thinking about starting another one, it's you don't have to quit that business. You can get someone else to run it, or you can, there's a million things you could do, right? And so this isn't so much about making that type of sacrifice. I think it's more about expansion. With the Seven of Wands, you have the Six of Cups. Yeah, more playfulness. You have this and the Ten of Cups as well. With these cards, especially with the Cancer energy, which is like your inner child, this energy wants you to be more playful, have more fun, enjoy life more, put yourself out there more. All that other stuff is what I would be doing with the Six of Cups and the Ten of Cups, and, just having more fun in general. With the Knight of Swords, you have the Ace of Pentacles here. So again, don't run away from any opportunities that could be coming your way. I've been seeing this a lot, Pisces, that, a lot of people have been getting this stuff about like big opportunities coming in at this time. For you, this is probably mental because Ace of Swords, Knight of Swords, something that you're thinking about doing with your life. And the Ace of Pentacles wants you to grow it. And so does the Nine of Pentacles that we go up to here as well. The Nine of Pentacles is kind of like pre-Empress energy. She wants us to nurture something into existence. She wants us to, raise it like a baby and really take care of it. And that's what I would be doing with that Nine of Pentacles card, is like really taking care of any opportunities that come your way. I also am getting like good news here. I don't always feel this, but every once in a while, I feel like the Ace of Pentacles, for whatever reason, is talking about like good news coming in or receiving good news. So, there could be some like good news here. Now, the thing that's popping into my head, Pisces, is like, I almost feel like you have to approve something. It's like you're, giving your stamp of approval on an idea that comes to you, or you're saying yes to something, and that is striking me as very important. It's almost like you need to claim it or tell the universe like, yes, I'm gonna do this, or yes, I say yes to this opportunity, right? And I really feel that the claiming it like that will make all the difference in the world with this energy. Next, in the area of what's coming in for you, I can't make this up, Pisces. You have this card. It says a time to remember. It says look back on your childhood, Six of Cups. You have this accept what is. It says the act of acceptance will bring peace. Kind of what I just said, like saying yes to something, or, maybe the reading really wants you to accept something into your life. And I think that would be very beneficial for you. I think the Six of Cups for you, Pisces, is, again, we've had a ton of energy in your sign. And we had, Neptune, Saturn. We have this Mercury retrograde, this new moon on the 18th, if you're watching this before the 18th, right? And I think especially, like, how crazy is it that we had Neptune and Pisces for years, right? You've had a couple of eclipses, or you're going to have more eclipses in your sign in the future, right? And you already had one there. And, now we have this Mercury retrograde. Like, it's crazy to me that you go through these major transits, and then right after Neptune leaves Pisces, basically, we have Mercury go retrograde in Pisces. It's like, do you remember where you came from? Do you remember what you wanted to do when you were a child? Do you remember the things that you said you were going to do, the dreams that you had, the things that you thought would bring you fulfillment? It's almost like the universe is saying, you can still have those things. And, I think that's something that Pisces needs to realize, or, needs to kind of create at this time. You have the Six of Swords, the Ten of Cups, and the King of Cups. Again, I kind of a weird message here as well. I feel like it's saying don't give up now for some reason. I never feel that on the Six of Swords, but again, I read intuitively, so that's what I'm getting. It's almost like saying you're very, very close here, Pisces. It's like, don't turn around now, which we kind of said on the Knight of Swords as well. But they're heading towards calmer shores. They're going across these choppy waters. I feel like Pisces, of course, has been in choppy waters for a long time, and now you're trying to get to those calmer shores. And I feel it's like saying, keep going. You're very, very close. You have the Ten of Cups, which is like fortune after difficulty, or happy home, happy family. So definitely could be a lot of improvements that you're making at this time. I feel like you are. I mean, there's a lot of great improvement energy for Pisces moving forward, especially like in all areas of your life, really, but also financially. Anything you're doing financially really could be seeing a lot of benefits. But, again, I think for you, it's like the building time where it's like you have to build something, which I'm sure you don't want to hear, because that means a little bit more work to do. But at the same time, I feel what you have learned is that you have to build things that are permanent. I think you've learned that you can't build these things that lead to, like a quick success that doesn't last. Uranus and Taurus has probably taught you this, over the past many years. Uranus is about to move into Gemini, right? So whenever a planet leaves a sign, that's when we really implement the lessons that we learned. And so I feel like you're looking for like true security, something that can support you for the rest of your life. It could be anything like a job, a business career, a relationship, could be all of that all together. And I feel like that's what's going to bring you kind of like true fulfillment with the Ten of Cups. You have the King of Cups, which I feel like is you. We also have the Moon card and the Knight of Cups. So, again, this could be love as well, but, I think a lot of this energy is just how you are showing up in the reading. He is in choppy waters. He has embraced the darkness, right? He's become Batman, Pisces. It's like you're becoming Batman. Instead of being afraid of the dark, instead of being afraid of the bats, he has learned how to embrace it, right? He is saying to himself, yeah, shit happens in life, right? He is saying like, yeah, I'm in these choppy waters, but I still have this solid, concrete slab below me that is supporting me. I still have this boat back here where I can explore the unknown, right? There's a boat on the Six of Swords. I can still explore and find new solutions. I can move. I don't have to be stuck here. And I feel like that's what he's saying to you, or maybe you're saying to yourself, but it's almost like he is embracing, the darkness or something. I don't know. Kind of weird message, but there you go. You're Batman, Pisces. With the Six of Swords, you have the Three of Swords. Yeah, if you want love, definitely time to heal. We have the Three of Swords twice. Those swords are in your own heart. So the Three of Swords is about forgiving the past and moving forward. So you have, you don't have to forgive anyone directly. You just have to forgive them in your heart. And it is a good time for forgiveness at the end of the retrograde if you're watching this before the 20th. Even if you're watching it after, you still have time. So again, luckily we have it in the good stuff, which kind of says you are going to be healing. With the Ten of Cups, you have the Four of Swords. Yeah, great time to ask for things. We kind of talked about, putting your stamp of approval on something. And, the Four of Swords, he's hoping and praying for a blessing, right here. There's a person blessing another person. But it's like it's like the universe has heard you. Now all that's left to do is for you to say yes to whatever blessings are coming your way or whatever opportunities are coming your way, And so I think you need to say yes at this time. With the King of Cups, you have the Four of Cups. As usual, the Four of Cups comes up a lot during retrogrades. I think because we can think about past disappointments. He's been disappointed at least 3 times before, and now he's being offered another opportunity to try something again. But he's not accepting it because he's been disappointed 3 times before. So this could be about you trying again, which makes sense at the end of a retrograde, where, we revisit something during the retrograde, we process it, and then maybe after the 20th, we could start to think about like, oh, okay, there's a different approach that I could take to this idea. There's a different direction that I could be going. I could simplify this thing that I've been working on or whatever. And so I think it's going to be worth it for you to try again. Whatever your idea is, especially if you're trying something again, right? Six of Swords is my back to the drawing board card. So again, don't be surprised, if you're thinking about going back to the drawing board, and it will be worth it for sure, Pisces. And, even me, I'm a Pisces. I have completely rebuilt something over the last month, during the retrograde personally. And again, I take myself out of these readings so I don't affect them. But it is interesting. It is interesting. This is one of those times where the reading actually resonates with me because it's like I've been rebuilding something all over again. I'm started completely from scratch, right? And it's taken me the month, pretty much the entire month of March, and I'm not even done yet. So, it's probably going to take me all of April as well. But, the funny thing is I can see now, even though today is only the 16th, I can see, today, literally, I can see that it's going to be worth it. I'm like, okay, this is much cleaner. This is much better. We had that Virgo eclipse on the 3rd. So, the Virgo eclipse wanted us to bring clarity to something, which I said in your monthly reading. So, definitely something you could be doing. Next, in the area of messages from your future self, you have this Path to Knowledge card. It says, you're journeying into the realm of knowledge to assist in your personal growth. You have this Fleeting Flare path that says, something in your life will be brief, not meant to stay in your life forever. So a lot of you, I think that's what Pisces is used to, is flash in the pan situations. I feel a lot of Pisces have probably had that experience over the past many years of your life. That could be relationships that just, start and stop very quickly. It could be your ideas. I think that, years ago, when we had Uranus in Aries in your second house, you probably had a lot of experiences where it's like maybe you did something that made money very quickly, but maybe it got taken away very quickly, or maybe it just didn't last, right? You could have built things that you started and then they finished very quickly. And again, I think that energy is going away because the reading is clearly asking you to build something long term, something that's built to last, something that's permanent, and that will be good. Next, you have the Nine of Pentacles, the Moon, and the King of Pentacles. Nine of Pentacles, like gratitude, luxuries, independence, being grateful. And I feel like practicing gratitude would be a good thing for you. I feel like this is what you're trying to create. Having said that, Pisces, I think you need to go higher. It's like, this is good, but the Empress is better, right? She represents pre-Empress energy. And so I do, like, okay, like, I feel good about this. Like, don't get me wrong, but I am also getting, like, don't rest on your laurels. It's like, if you can reach the top, why not? Like, why shouldn't you, right? And so if you're working on anything that's becoming successful, I think the trick for Pisces is momentum, where you learn how to maintain something through a routine. Again, I've been doing 4 videos every single day for 12 years on this channel now, almost 12 years, whatever it is, right? And the only way I've been able to do this is because I have a routine. I wake up every single morning. First thing I do basically is these readings, right? And I'm done by like 9 o'clock at the latest, right? So I've done a ton of work, believe it or not, before 9 o'clock, before most people start their day, right? And I could only do that because I have the routine that I stick to. And, really, it's not as much work as people think it is. And, again, having I don't know, it changed my life. It's like for the first 6 years, it's funny because I was looking at my channel. I was looking at the growth, and it's like for the first 6 years, it was like basically nothing. It was very low. And then I shot up after that. And so it's like routine. And one of the things that I think it was is for like the first 4 or 5 years of my channel, I was doing my readings whenever I wanted. Like throughout the day, I wasn't really sticking to a plan. I would do some in the morning, some at night. It's like all over the place, right? But once I started doing them all at the same time in the morning, stuck to a routine, it freed up my day because I wasn't like thinking about it all day. And, just, I don't know, it just like gave me more time, right? I'm a big fan of doing it. I talk to people about it a lot because I think it's super important. And I feel like that's what this is saying. It's like saying, when you reach that point of success, you need to have a routine to maintain it. And I think that's what will bring you to Empress mode. You have the Moon, which is you. I feel pretty good about this. It's like I think Pisces still is going to have a little bit of more of a desire to know the future because Pisces does know the future usually, but we had Neptune and Pisces for a long time. I think Neptune and Pisces made it harder for Pisces to see the future. And so it's like you might find yourself having moments where, like, before you do something, you're going to want to know that it works. And I feel like the Moon is saying, well, you can't. You just have to figure it out, right? So, don't get stuck in those moments. Pisces, make sure to like, by the way, and leave a comment. Really helps me out. You have the King of Pentacles. King of Pentacles is long-term success. He has built wealth in his life. I've been saying to you for the last 2 years now that you are in a time where you should be building wealth. And again, it doesn't have to just be money. It should be everything. It should be the whole big picture of wealth. And, I feel you've learned a lot of habits, a lot of routines maybe that could help you do that. And I would just stick to those things for sure. With the Nine of Pentacles, you have the Eight of Cups. Yeah, really important that you remove anything that gets in the way of the Nine of Pentacles. I would look at things that are enjoyable but are bad, like bad food, for example. It's like the Nine of Pentacles, she wants to enjoy life. And it's like, yeah, eating a bunch of junk food, maybe it's like short-term enjoyment, but long-term, it's not going to pay off, right? It's time for Pisces to think long-term. And I'm not telling you what to do. You can do whatever you want. I'm just telling you what the cards are saying, right? And so they're saying maybe in binging and all that is enjoyable right now. But is it going to lead to long-term success? Probably not, because if you eat a bunch of junk food and then you feel terrible in the future, it's really going to slow you down. And so I think the Eight of Cups is about, walking away and choosing to not allow those things that are going to slow you down into your life. With the Moon, you have the Nine of Cups. Yeah, just focus on fulfillment, your own enjoyment in life, and good things will happen. I do feel like this card is asking you to make a wish as well, Pisces, so it could be a good time to ask the universe for something. With the Four of Swords, we were talking about approving of something or saying yes to something that's coming in for you. With the King of Pentacles, you have the King of Swords. You almost have all three kings here. So if you're looking for love, again, we have the Knight of Cups at the end. You've been getting really good love readings in general. So you could be attracting someone who's like a divine counterpart. I think this is also saying you know more than you think, Pisces. And, I know I've been saying that to you for a few weeks now at least. But, I think it's true. It's like you're looking at things with that moon card as like this big-ass mountain in front of you. But it's like, he knows all the tricks. So it's like, even if you have a mountain in front of you, even if you have to go back to the drawing board, it's like you've learned things over the years that will help you climb that mountain faster. So, I feel like you need to not look at something as an obstacle. It's like not as big of an obstacle as you think. Next, in the area of the good stuff, you have this To Be Fair card and this No Place Like Home card. Yeah, I think you're bringing balance to your life like we already said. Your home is going to be a focus for years to come because we have Uranus going to Gemini, which is your 4th house, Pisces. So, that some of you could be moving. You could be looking for a place to call home, but you don't have to move. Uranus and Gemini could just make you kind of like make changes in your home right now so that it can feel more like home, things like that. So a lot of you probably are doing that already. You have the Three of Swords, the Knight of Cups, and the Ten of Swords. Again, in the good stuff, Three of Swords can say that you are forgiving the past and moving forward, which is exactly what I would be doing at this time, especially if you're watching this before the 20th. And again, even if you're watching it a few days after, perfectly fine to start, forgiving and letting go. You have the Knight of Cups. Could be a knight in shining armor for those of you that are looking for love. So if you're looking for love, could be attracting a new person. The Knight of Cups is also about planting seeds towards your dream. Again, I think you need to think back to childhood and like what you thought life would be like, and you need to start creating that here on Earth as much as you possibly can. I always say Nine of Pentacles is heaven on Earth. She does things to create heaven on Earth around her. And it doesn't say her life is perfect. It just says she does things to try to create heaven on Earth. And that's probably what you have to do with this card. You have the Ten of Swords. Ten of Swords is about completely letting go of the past. I think this is true for Pisces. I do think that Pisces gets to this point. Personally, it's like I think that a lot of people say like Pisces holds on to things or whatever, but I've also seen a lot of Pisces in my life where it's like they get to a point where they can just move past something very, very quickly. It's like even something they have been holding on to. It's like all of a sudden they wake up and they can just be like, oh, I don't need this anymore. And they just like move past it. And I kind of get that energy for you. Like, don't be surprised if this week you decide, like all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute, I don't need that job, or I don't need the approval of that person, or I don't need the whatever from that person in my life. It's like you're just cutting something out very quick. With the Three of Swords, you have the Devil. Again, good, but I would also, I would pay attention to those things that feel good but aren't good, right? That's kind of what I was getting on, in this area of the reading. It's like, I don't think it's bad. I think it's just, there are things that can slow you down, that maybe you don't realize are slowing you down, and that's what I'd be careful of. And again, it's coming up in the good stuff. So it's like eliminating those habits will be good. With the Knight of Cups, you have the Knight of Wands, which again, I'm a big fan of you going on adventures. I have class tonight, Pisces. Go join a class. There are a billion free classes about everything in your local area. I guarantee it. Go do something to socialize. Go join a social club. Go join a group where you meet up with people and do whatever the hell. Rollerblade around your neighborhood. I don't care what it is. You will get your biggest benefits. Mark my words, Pisces. You will get so many benefits from doing that. It's not even funny. Again, I've been preaching this to you for last year because for the last year I joined this class, right? I've met so many friends. I've so many other things have come from it. That's what you need to realize. It's not about the thing you're doing. It's about what that will lead to. That's what's important for you, as far as the astrology is concerned. I always tell people I work with the energy. I do this stuff. I follow the rules because it changed my life, right? And it's free. I'm telling you what to do. It doesn't have to cost money. So again, I'm a big fan of that for you. With the Ten of Swords, you have the Five of Cups. Five of Cups can be regrets and sadness, but again, in the good stuff, it says you're turning around. You're seeing these two cups, so it's like, the solution to the Five of Cups is gratitude, and you could finally be finding something to be grateful for, which is great, Pisces. Love it. Let's see. You have this broken wishbone. It says, wish will not be granted. I would just be careful of getting hung up on how something is accomplished. Again, Pisces, I think some of you, it's like you can attach yourself to an idea and you think you have to accomplish it one way. I feel like this is saying be flexible. You have this knot. It says unsuccessful plans. Yeah, just again, be open to other solutions. I see this for a lot of people this year where it's like they can encounter an obstacle and give up on something. And I feel like this card is saying like, no, just like the way you're doing something right now might not be working. Maybe you have to go back to the drawing board, like I said, but that's okay. You have this December card in this basket. It says recognition, reward for merit. Yes, it's an amazing time for you to receive recognition, attract abundance for the things that you're doing and accomplishing. So, between now and the end of the year, basically. And it's probably not going to stop after that. You have this diamond. It says you will be receiving or giving a precious gift. Could be love, Pisces. I don't know. I feel like you're attracting a shy person with that Knight of Cups for some reason. Like if you want love, it's like I feel like this person's already either in your life or they know who you are or you know who they are or whatever. But I feel like they're very slow. I don't know. It's popping into my head. It's like the Knight of Wands is what has to happen. Right, is kind of like how I'm taking that. It's like someone's got to make a move. So if you happen to know a person that you're interested in, make the move, right? Obviously, if you don't, I don't know. We can't affect other people, but there you go. You have the seahorse. It says family matters on it. Yeah, family looks really good for Pisces. I think family could be very supportive for you. Again, Uranus and Gemini, you never know what can happen. It's like, fourth house is home and family. It's like the things that I see for Pisces, like some of you could be like forming a compound with your family. Like that would not surprise me if you like moved to like a piece of property with your family and you like started a family business or something like that. I'm not saying it exactly has to be that, but stuff like that I think is very, very good for Pisces over, the coming years. So if you're doing something like that, could be very supportive and very successful as well. That's just one example. Again, there's a million things you could be doing with family, but like anything you're doing is probably going to be good. Wouldn't surprise me if some of you had family moving closer to you, if you live far away. Wouldn't surprise me if we were spending more time with family in general, all that. This looks really good. I love it. So thank you for being here. Make sure to leave a comment, and definitely enjoy your week.